So Trader Society just had our most profitable day in history. We ended up clearing over $7 million in profits as a collective. With that being said, the bulk of those profits came from a trader known as Ninja, and Ninja specializes in swing trading, and his swing trades are known for being multi-baggers, and he only looks to swing trade a couple times per month. He's been alerting his trades in real time. His swing trade before this one was buying SPY call options at 415 when everyone was bearish. He sold the next day at 420. His next swing trade, and he prepared people in advance. He gave them all of the information that he had that a lot of people didn't know or understand about, and he taught everybody in the chat why he decided to swing trade those NVIDIA call options through earnings. He put $1.7 million into those call options, a 320 strike price, July expiration. He sold this morning for a $6.3 million profit. And it doesn't just stop there, because in terms of my analysis on the SPY, I told everybody within the chat, today is going to be a bullish trend day. What I'm going to be doing is focusing on when SPY breaks above resistance. Once it has a nice breakout, miss out on the move. When it drops back down to that resistance where the bear trap was created, buy the dip because it's going to react to support. Then it's going to start to spike because that's what happens on trend days. I gave them the best levels possible, man. And I ended up day trading call options 4 times on calls in a row. Every single time it went under $413, I bought 413 strike calls out of the money. Sold those calls in the money, made a $6,500 profit within 1 single hour on 4 scalps. Then my last trade, which I waited several hours for, was buying calls once again at power hour. As soon as power hour hit, I bought my calls at 414.10. It spiked all the way to 415.70. I sold, I locked in my profits. I went 5 for 5 on the day, 100% win rate, a $10,000 profit in total. I only had 1 loss this week, all green days. This has been my most successful and accurate week in terms of the commentary and information and analysis that I provided. With that being said, man, what I'm going to do for you in this video is I'm going to teach you how we're able to do this, how we're able to capture trends in real time, how we're able to consistently profit in the market by trading SPY and options, how we're able to master price action. I'm going to recap the trades, and not only am I going to stop there, because towards the end of this video, I'm going to share with you my current trading plan that I can provide to you in advance, before the market opens, right? I'm going to share with you my trading plan on how we're planning to crush the SPY tomorrow. Here's the deal. Fridays are known for being my best trading days of the week, and tomorrow's going to be Friday, so I'm looking forward to it. I want to finish this week strong, especially since we're not going to have the opportunity to make money in the stock market on Monday because it's Memorial Day. So now is the time, man, and we are going to crush it because Fridays are my best day, and I see the perfect trade and pattern lining up, which is what I'm going to be sharing at the end of this video. With that being said, we're going to start off with the analysis, with the price action recap, with the trade recaps. Then we're going to head into the trading plan. Let's get straight into it. So first things first, man, I got to give some shout outs to some members. Ninja, he's an anonymous user. He used to work for Merrill Lynch, I believe. He's been in the chat for over a year. Very under the radar, private, low key kind of guy. The information this guy has been putting in the chat is unbelievable. This is worth a lot of money, and this is very, very valuable. I'm not going to be sharing it within this video, but for those of you who are new within the chat, you can search his username, all of the logs, all the information, everything is documented, his real-time trades, and he explains why he took these real-time swing trades. It is truly unbelievable what he's doing with these multi-bagger options. That swing trade that he took was able to make, and you can see this is a live account. This guy's 100% legit. $6.3 million profit in his live trading account. He alerted it all in real time. That one trade made this guy right here a $2,500 profit on a $150 position size. He took one contract and he ended up making a $2,500 profit, man. He made like a 1,500% return or something on that. It's truly crazy. 5 times the cost of Trader Society. But with that being said, man, I'm going to be recapping. Big shout out to France. He made over $25,000 trading SPY options. This is the same guy who made $60,000 on the previous NVIDIA swing trade that we have, right? They're crushing it, man. I got to give shout outs. But with that being said, man, in terms of Trader Society, man, absolutely crushed it. 70 people green, 5 red. I asked the people red to write me a 500-word essay on why you're red. Every single trade was a win. We alerted calls under 413 4 times in a row. And the play after that was calls at power hour. I timed it perfectly, and I'm going to show you how we're doing this. We bought calls on the opening of this 30-minute candle at 414.10. As soon as we got in, it rips to 415.50. I'm going to show you how we're able to do this. We are consistently doing this, man. It is truly incredible in terms of the team that we've built, because the people that we've attracted and the information that they provided and the networks they're part of, like Ninja, he has access to multi-millionaires. He had a couple multi-millionaires go in with him on that trade. and they make tens of millions of dollars together as a whole, as a collective within his small little group. But with that being said, man, it's truly insane what you can do, and all the money is being made in the SPY floor, man. We have this SPY floor. Everybody alerts their trades in real time, and it's just nonstop. People taking money out of the market, just a bunch of money printers, man, sharing exactly what it is that they're doing in real time. And the best traders within the chat, so Ninja, he specializes in swing trading. I specialize in day trading. I have swing trades once in a while. Dimitri specializes in day trading, scalping. Top G specializes day trading, scalping. Willis is a new moderator as well. He kills it, man. Absolutely crushing it. We have so many competent people who are crushing the market every single day. There is nobody who's reading price action like us. So in terms of, what is that we're doing, right? What value can I provide for you within this video? We got to start off with analysis, and I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you how it is that we're doing this. And I would truly encourage you to go back and watch all of those videos that I posted. I post those videos during the day at random times, so they don't get a lot of views. But if you go back and watch them, you'll see the education happening in real time. I would encourage you to go back and watch those video lessons as well. But anyways, this was the analysis. I said this last night that we're going to recap this. The daily candlestick and pattern that I'm seeing in the SPY says we're going to have a very bullish trend day and to avoid puts. I will be targeting pre-market lows for dip buys for call options. Once we break above 414 and form support, it's going to have a massive run to 417. 417 narrowly hit, very realistic target. We went slightly above 416. Key level and interest for calls is the previous resistance in the 412s. This was 100% spot on. I avoided puts for the entire day. I had 5 dips on calls, and I cleared 10K in those 5 scalps, man. With that being said, I'm going to be recapping the trades, and I'm going to be explaining to you what it is that we were seeing for such a bullish day. So if you watched my previous videos, you'd already have a better understanding on this, but just to kind of quickly go over it real quick, this is the pattern that we captured. And we hit this same pattern right here when it was at 404. We used the same exact strategy. Go back in time throughout my videos. It's all documented. But anyways, there was a gap to fill at 404.36. This is a daily chart. The SPY is opening up higher than it previously closed. See the empty space? That means it's gapping up. So the point I'm making is the SPY is gapping up. It's having a gap up. And not only is it gapping up, but it's a multi-day runner, gapping going. It just keeps on trending up, right? When does the SPY start to reverse? When does it start to crash? When it forms a doji. And you can see the same thing happen right here. SPY is gapping up. It's a multi-day runner. When does SPY start to crash? When it forms a doji. Then after it forms that doji, look at this. Nothing but downhill. Nothing but downhill. And take a look at this. This is the pattern. This is how I was able to be so accurate. So I want you to remember this. The reason why I'm so accurate, and for those of you, when you see it happen in real time and you're like, wow, this guy's a wizard. How does he know this? It's because what it is that I'm doing is I'm basing trades off of patterns in history that it's going to repeat itself. So imagine having a trade based off of history, based off of a pattern. And you know exactly what it's going to do because it already happened, right? So what my job is to capture these patterns, these trends, this history in real time, like a history teacher. And from there, once my price alert triggers, once the pattern's playing out, I have to confirm that it's going to repeat itself. And the way I confirm that it's going to repeat itself, that same pattern, that same history is going to happen, right? Is through candlesticks and through price action and through the daily chart and through the 30-minute chart and through the 1-minute chart. Those are the time frames that I use, but I do it through the candles. It's all within trading the chart. But look at this, man. You have a bearish daily candle right here. You have a bearish daily candle right here. And remember how it sold off with the doji? Same thing's happening, right? What happens when it forms this bearish daily candle? What happens when it forms this bearish daily candle? It gaps down the next day. It gaps down the next day. What happens and where does it bottom? At the gap. This is how I was able to predict the closing price of yesterday, and we banked on calls as well yesterday. Right here, when it hits the previous closing price and when it fills the gap, the best support level where all the bears got trapped, right here, when it fills the gap and it's at the bottom of the channel at the key support, and when it fills the gap, it's going to try to reverse. We call that a gap close reversal. When the gap fills at the bottom of the channel, see there's gaps here at the middle. We're talking about the one at the bottom. At the bottom of the channel, at the best price to buy the dip, at the best price to buy the calls, where the SPY had a massive move up, massive bear trap, key support, massive spike, overreaction, right? It's going to try to reverse and take a look. The gap was at 404.36. Right here, it went to 403.74. So it had like a 50, 60 cent drop below the gap, and then it spiked. And it closed basically $1.25 above the low, forming this wick. And then what happened the next day? The next day it gapped up. And I explained this to members. I told them, if you want to swing trade, this is the pattern. You can take it at your own risk. 40% of the people decided to swing trade calls. They banked. The others decided to take their profits. Do I have regrets for being one of those people who decided to take profits? Absolutely not. I don't wish or hope for anything. I'm very content and I'm conservative in a sense. When you get to a certain level, you don't have to feel the need to take any big risk. Yesterday, I cleared nearly 10K. I don't feel the need to swing trade and try to make more. I find day trading to be the easiest and less risky because I'm not exposed to a big gap up or gap down if I'm right or wrong, right? That's the advantage to day trading. You get in, you get out. You get in at the best level and you get stopped out very, very quickly if it cracks. If you're right, you sell for a nice profit. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to be exposed to overnight risk and news and stuff like that. But anyways, you can see the same thing happened. When it filled the gap, it went a little bit under like last time, and then it spiked like $1.25 from the lows. So I think we can all agree it's pretty insane how accurate this pattern was. And you have to ask yourself, how many people, for those of you who watch other people, for those of you who follow other traders that trade the SPY, that talk about the SPY, or maybe in terms of how you read the chart, did you see what I'm seeing? Because I saw it, and I brought awareness in terms of this whole situation to my entire team. And basically what we're doing is when we see these patterns, when we see these trends, we capitalize off of that history repeating itself. And when we see that history repeating itself and these wicks forming and all these confirmations, it gives us more confidence to continue to play the trade based off the history. Then it gets to a point where the streak is over. So if you look at this pattern, man, it's been working for like 4 days. Worked here, worked here, worked here, worked here, and then it just worked today. It had the gap up. It had the massive bull run, right? 4 days in a row. You could have played that entire pattern and banked very, very nicely. And imagine holding that, man. We scalp, but we take advantage of our scalps, man. But the point I'm making is that's what we do. And then it gets to a point where the pattern, where the history no longer works. It no longer repeats itself, right? And when it hits that point, we get stopped out, we take our small loss, and then we wait for the next trade. And that's just one of the strategies. This is just one of the concepts, one of the mentalities, one of the flow states, one of my third open eyes that's open, right? This is just one of the things that I do. I'm just trying to open your mind up a little bit and share with you how accurate this can be. Because look, it has the massive gap up, it has the massive gap up, right? So we see how accurate that history is repeating itself. So what is the next thing that we look to do from there, right? So in terms of the next thing that we're looking to do in terms of the SPY, right? So stay with me here. We are looking for an opportunity to buy calls. That's why I was expecting it to have that massive gap up. So the question is, where would be the situation to buy calls? Where would we be interested in buying those call options on the SPY? We would be very interested at the previous resistance levels. So if you study the daily chart and you study this pattern that I was bringing awareness to, right here when it gapped up, so today it gapped up, same thing's happening. It opened up at 408. It opened up at 408.91 and the low was 408.64. So it didn't drop too much from the open and it never came back down to fill the gap and it closed fairly strong. So history is going to try to repeat itself in similar cycles. So with that being said, if history repeats itself, it's not going to come back down here to fill the gap and it's going to try to bottom towards that opening price. Now, in this situation, what was different was it did not bottom close to the opening price. It had a nice little drop at open, but there was no bullish confirmations to be buying, so I didn't make any trades based off that pattern. But what I did realize was, I told myself, man, it's likely not going to go back down to fill the gap. I still think it's going to be a bullish day. So what would be a level where I can look to try calls? And the key is previous resistance that has not been retested. When SPY is going to have a bullish day and when it has a massive break above resistance, like it did, a massive gap up above resistance, what you do is you wait for it to drop back down to previous resistance right here. See how this is a previous resistance level right here that was never tested. It formed resistance and it just crashed. It never tested this resistance. But once it tested this previous resistance, right, high of day yesterday, it reacted as support. Very nice spike. So when you see that bullish confirmation and it drops right back down, you start hitting calls when you get some bullish confirmations. You hit calls, you hit calls. We did that trade 4 times today. And what did I tell you in the past 2 videos? When SPY's at our key level to buy calls and you see a doji, look at the 1 minute candle, a dragonfly doji, this formed at the exact low of day, guess who's hitting calls heavy? I'm hitting calls heavy. We did it 4 times under 413. So the theory was it was going to have a bullish day based off that pattern. What confirmed my theory and gave me confidence that it was going to happen is because it gapped up. It gapped up. What confirmed it even more and gave me more confidence that was going to happen? It spiked off the previous resistance level that was never tested. It's already spiking very, very nicely. Support is forming. It's forming the Dragonfly dojis. We're smashing calls under 413 because we know when it hits previous resistance, they're going to try to bring those calls back in the money and we sell into the rip. Where's the resistance? 413.50 is your resistance. You buy under 413, you sell the rip. We did that 4 times in a row. Then from there, I took a break. I told him, look, I'm content. I made 6,500. I'm content. I'm going to wait for something very, very good to happen. But as I was waiting, I gave them some of the best trade ideas possible. When we broke above 412.50, when we broke above, 413.50, around this zone, I told them, best level for calls. It was the exact bottom. I told him 413.50 when it was around here at 414. When we retest 413.50, see how it's breaking above. It's breaking above. Once we retest this previous resistance at 413.50, it's going to try to bounce. Told him that. That was such a great play. And then I upped the level, 414.50. That banked as well. When it retests 414.50, phenomenal level for calls. I didn't play any of those, but I gave them the best zones for calls as a scalper, and I timed it perfectly. They did well on those for the ones who played it. And then my final trade was this. Take a look at this 30-minute chart. How many of you saw this on the 30-minute chart? Because I saw it crystal clear. What have I been telling you about these wicks, man? Remember how I've been telling you, look at this trend. SPY forms the green wick. See the green wick right here? Look at the green wick. See the green top wick? See the green top wick? What does it do towards close? It spikes back to the high of the wick. Do you see that? It spikes back to the high of the wick, and then it drops. It spikes back to the high of the wick, and then it drops. It spikes back towards the high of this wick, and then it drops. Now, I use that theory and that pattern along with it's going to try to close strong because bullish day, right? So I used all that. And then another thing that I realized on the SPY was this. This is what I ended up realizing. Whenever SPY forms like this doji, take a look at this doji. You got like a bearish doji, and then the next 30 minutes, it drops. And then it forms a wick. What does it do after that? It explodes to the upside. You see that pattern? So take a look. We have another doji right here. We have a doji right here. We have a red candle right here. We have a red candle right here. We have a bottom wick at the red candle. We have a bottom wick at the red candle. What does it do on the opening of that 30 minute? It spikes. So guess who was smashing calls at the lows at the best time possible? It's all documented, man. Everything I'm saying, it's all documented. Type it in. 414 calls. Look at this. It's going to say this time. Look, 2:46 p.m., literally at the lows. Took my starters. Added. Why did I add at 3:03 p.m.? 30-minute pattern was bullish. Power hour is the best time for calls at the lows at key support. Added to calls. Sold the rip. This ran all the way to 415.50, nearly back to that wick. And we know it's going to try to sell for that wick. So we sell and we lock in our gains, man. Look at this. The pattern worked out perfectly. Doji, doji. Red candle wick, red candle wick. Big green bullish candle with the wick. Big green bullish candle with the wick. Sells off for 30. Sells off for 30. It worked perfectly, man. You guys, you got to capture this stuff, man. I hope I'm not the only one who sees this stuff, man, because I teach you how to do it within my videos. I teach you these patterns. I've been teaching this same pattern for all week. We discussed the two, double the wick and the red 30-minute. We discussed all these patterns throughout the videos, man. What I'm doing is I'm capturing trends. I'm capturing patterns, man, and I understand how 30-minute candles work. I understand how these patterns work. I understand how to take advantage of them. I understand key times and when calls are going to spike, man. So that was that killer trade that I had, man. I waited several hours. You have to be very, very disciplined to sit on the sideline. The reason why I wasn't smashing calls higher, even though I was bullish, is because I didn't want the levels, and I'm content. I made my money for the day. I don't want to risk giving back more money, right? I made my money. In terms of that being said, the way I told people on how to capitalize on calls, if you want to, take advantage of the bullish day, you can risk holding it and hold your hopes, or you can scalp. And what I do is I scalp. And the way I told them to take advantage of the bullish uptrend was this, which was phenomenal analysis. When SPY breaks above a resistance level, wait for it to drop back to previous resistance, buy calls on the dip, it should react to support. That analysis that I gave worked out phenomenally on many levels. And I alerted the zones. I alerted 413.50, 414.50, even 414.70 to 414.90. Every single time I said that, it banked. It only didn't work once after that, and it was at the higher level, but I told him if you're in, just get stopped out quick. Then I hit calls at 4:14 at power hour open, and I absolutely crushed it, man. So with that being said, that's how we were able to do it, man. And those are some of the basics. I'm not sharing everything in terms of what it is that I'm doing, but those are just some of the basics in terms of the pattern and trend recognition and the third eye and the things that I'm seeing. Now, what am I seeing for tomorrow in advance? So based off this pattern that's been repeating very, very well, what it says is that it's going to try to drop. That's what it's saying. It's saying that it's going to try to have a small drop. That's what the pattern is saying. You can see on the next day it had a small drop. Now you can see there are some differences. This is what the daily candle looked like last time. This is what the daily candle looks like now. There are some differences. You can say this is a doji. It's not at the best resistance level possible, but it is at resistance. But look, man, we got to see how it reacts. We just got to see if we gap up, we gap down. I don't have too strong of an opinion at the moment, but I'm going to say this as well. This is what I'm going to say. So last time it did drop, but we do have to see. You can see like that same candlestick kind of formed right here and it gapped up. So we just got to see, man. Let's see in terms of extended hours if we're having, some sort of big move right now, or if we're just kind of chopping. So we closed at 414.65. It's at 414.03. So my theory is kind of right in a sense. It's already gapping down. So look, man. If we gap down tomorrow, this is the levels where we're going to be hitting puts. 414.65, we're hitting puts if we gap down. And then the best level for puts besides 414.65 is going to be this level right here. Right around this 415 to like 415.40 zone. 415 to 415.40, best level for puts. 414.65, level of interest for puts. In terms of call options, where would we be interested in buying call options? 412.50, tight stop, very, very tight stop. 411, take some size. Hit calls at 411. You get stopped out. Under 410, super heavy. That's the game plan. But 411 calls should bank. If not, then under 410, that's going to bank. Keep an eye on 412.50. Not the best price. I'm not too interested in it. Basically, this is the best thing to do. Puts, 414.65. Best zone for puts, 415 to 415.40. Calls, 411, under 410. Those are the zones. Those are the plays. Those are the best setups at those prices that I compare for you, for events. Not sure why my camera went out, but with that being said, if you want to be a part of Traders Society and trade with me on Friday, I'm telling you, we're gonna close this week out strong. This pattern's been repeating for 4 days. I'm going to analyze it tomorrow. We're going to crush it tomorrow. We're going to finish this week out very, very strong. If you want to join, it is the first link down below in the description. Click that first link. It's a one-time fee. You get instant access and you get lifetime access to the entire program, to the networking opportunities, to the live trading streams, to the live trading voice channels, to my real-time alert analysis, to my real-time watch list, to my key levels, to getting your questions answered by me and the moderators through private direct messages within the Discord. There's so much more to it. The video lesson library teaching you the entire trading system, the unique price action trading strategies, the gap trading strategies, how to master and read price action within the market, how to master trading SPY, psychology, risk management, position sizing. It's all there, man. If you want to become the best trader you can possibly be, surround yourself with the right network and the right information, because we are doing it, man. I'm telling you, you learn how this stuff works. You can pull your friends, your family, and you can show them, look, I know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to be right if you master it 7 out of 10 times. When you're right, it's going to do exactly what you want it to do. When you're wrong, you take a small loss and you stop out instantly. If it cannot work at our levels, it is just not going to work. And you must stop and cut your loss in an instant. With that being said, if you want to surround yourself with the most competent, unique style of trading group within that the retail market has to offer, this is going to be the right group for you, man. It is the first link down below in the description. I will see you guys tomorrow live at Market Open, and I would encourage you to take the time and invest into yourself. You got to think at the end of the day, man, this is a competition. We are all competing to take money out of the market. And within this group and society we have the right network, we have the right tools, we have the right community, we have the right people, we have the right information, we have the right trading strategies. The time is now to take advantage of this, man. It is the first link down below within the description.